Hi friends, Talia here with a video where I'm gonna tell you something about kink in comics.
What are you looking at? Get in here.
Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below or else. Wonder Woman is known for being involved with bondage in many of her comics, especially in her early stories. We are going to take a look into how Wonder Woman isn't the only superhero representing a BDSM culture that is the bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism culture. Next to Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman stands as one of the most popular comic book superheroes of all time. It is for this reason and many more that she is discussed when talking about feminism and nationalism, as she embodies both a female sex symbol and a feminist icon. William Moulton Marston, also known by the pen name Charles Moulton, was an American psychologist, inventor of an early prototype of the lie detector, self-help author, and a comic book writer, who created the character Wonder Woman. He wrote Wonder Woman as a feminine, capable, and strong character that he made appealing and empowering to both males and females alike. He was passionate about his view that she should represent a crusader for female liberation. This was a deliberate effort through the many bondage scenes written by Marston to explain the shift in power that he felt would benefit the country. Much like with other superhero characters, there is a common underlying BDSM theme that goes along with the back and forth and the exchange of power in all comics confrontations. For example, Catwoman is first to come to mind with her bodysuit, sharp claws, and whip in hand. She is clever, playful, and tricky, and she uses her claws and whip to both attack and defend, and uses them with great skill to assist her in accomplishing many feats. She would be seen as a skillful dominant, bringing her opponent to her knees. Some might argue that she has a sadistic side, inflicting sharp pain with her tools. Her 78-year courtship with Batman illustrates flirtatious side, and her attraction to Batman is evidence of her ability to care for another. Batman is an example of a dark dominant soul in the superhero world, with a great need for control and power. In the 1949 debut of Catwoman, then known as the Cat, Batman immediately positions himself as a dominant over her with the line, "Quiet or Papa Spank." In this phrase, he somewhat resembles a daddy dom, which is a caring dominant position to hold in a potential relationship. Batman's character is able to dominate his opponents mostly without major harm, lending to the fact that proper dominance is exercised with care and compassion, and he operates within limits and boundaries, being respectful of that. In fact, most of the superheroes practice this kind of restraint. We could look at Black Widow, with her fierce agility, stealthy spy skills, and exceptional intellect. She wears leather and hides her widow's bite in her electrified gauntlets. She's an alpha, and the body manipulation that she's capable of is a power skill used to dominate her opponents with. Electroshocks from her wrist cuffs can be seen to represent electricity play. Some kink play involves electricity for the sensations it can create. The violet wand is the tool of choice for those that enjoy that kind of thing. When holding the violet wand, the electricity can pass through the dominant's body and come out their fingers, just like what having a real superpower might feel like. Imagine being able to give someone a supercharged sensation to get their body tingling. The next character is Spider-Man with different powers in his hands. The kink community would consider him a master rigger with bondage of silk webbing that shoots out of his wrist, capturing friend and foe in the beautiful webs he weaves. The captured are made to submit to whatever position he splatters them into. They are safe and sound and restricted to that position until they are rescued or released. In rope bondage, a master rigger is usually one to create beautiful art with their rope tying skills. It's often the process of tying and the predicaments that they can position their partner in that is the excitement and the fetish alone. Some learn the skill to enhance other play, but it takes a great deal of practice and effort to learn the proper techniques and to learn the safety measures involved for this kind of play. Next, we could take a look at Deadpool as being an example of a cheerful masochist. He is able to regenerate and repair any injuries, and he does so with a great sense of humor. This lends to the idea that he might experience pleasure from pain. A masochist is someone that desires the feeling of pain. He may not seek out the pain, but he seems to deal with it well. Harley Quinn comes to mind as another masochist for all of the emotional abuse that she seems to enjoy from the Joker. She also plays a little girl role to her Joker daddy, which is a whole other roleplay fetish around in the community. I could go on to list more, like Iron Man might be into confinement in his suit. The Flame might be into fire play. Superman might be another daddy type figure, being as he's so caring. Shazam might be what's considered a little, switching from child to adult hero and back. Wolverine into knife play. Cable, Doctor Doom, and Professor X. They all have mind control powers, and similarly there's hypnosis and control exchange in the community. All superheroes have relatable elements of BDSM, simply with the constant battle of dominance and submission. In the Wonder Woman #8 issue from the spring of 1944, Diana philosophizes that if girls want to be slaves, there's no harm in that. The bad thing for them is submitting to a master or an evil mistress like Paula. A good mistress could do wonders with them. While we're on the topic, to speak to the other side, we should consider the great power that exists in submission. The dominant is in control of what happens within the boundaries and limits of the submissive. This is why there are a great deal of powerful people that find pleasure and comfort in letting someone else take the reins over them. As I've mentioned before, most of the superheroes show restraint and care in how they treat their target. This exists in the kink community, one might say, more so than in a non-kink community, with everyone expecting protocols to be followed and negotiations of consent to be established before anything happens, making it the safest neighborhood to be in. Marston featured bondage scenes often in the Wonder Woman stories to deliver a message that he was passionate about, and that is that women must sexually dominate men. Dominance and submission were themes that he used, not to be crude, but instead to illustrate an ingenious vision of female emancipation. From the text, Wonder Woman and Philosophy, the Amazonian Mystique. You'll find my sources in the description below, by the way. It is mentioned that Wonder Woman is only an Amazonian princess with badass boots. She's the missing link in a chain of events that begins with the women's suffrage campaign in the 1910s and ends with the troubled place of feminism fully a century later. Feminism made Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman remade feminism. Superhero characters often have a strong message to deliver or to represent, depending on the time in history when they were developed. Through BDSM culture, superheroes are able to keep order and exercise respect and restraint for the good of the whole. The underlying connection to bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism is what keeps the audience captivated. The nods to bondage in Wonder Woman were simply more obvious than the others, and fans should feel comfort in knowing that the connection that likely all superheroes have to the BDSM culture is a respectfully safe, sane, and consensual one. Well, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. A special thank you goes to Dr. Atkinson for setting up this YouTube video for the final assignment. If he didn't set this up, I wouldn't have learned how to do YouTube videos, and who knows where I'd be. I've listed my sources in the description below, and so you'll see where I got my information from and maybe some readings for you to check out. And of course, there's good old Google for the photos. Again, thanks for watching, and be sure to like my video and subscribe to my channel so you can see what I will be working on next. I'm going to leave you with a commercial that I showed you a clip of earlier, and I will let you figure it out if it's a real product or not. Okay, that's it.
Baby, relax. I'll have this all cleaned up. I'll make you a nice dinner.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, baby.